during the Pangea period or some shit.
What'd you call me?
Pangea. Do you know what that is?
It's an era.
No,
right?
Yeah. It's when they think that all of the continents were connected together.
Oh yeah, we were one flat Earth then. It was one flat table.
I think it was flat.
No, it's obviously not.
A giant chunk, and then the rest was water, and then it spread out, which is fucking weird.
That is
what
weird.
Is happening?
How did that? And also, is that happening on our insides? On it's obviously on a cellular level. Everything's just splitting and being torn the fuck apart.
There it is. Here's the modern Pangea map.
Whoa.
This is modern.
Well, I think with the modern country separations and all that, because
this is what it looked like if you brought it. I thought there's morons
I was
out
going to
there.
say,
Is
that South
real.
America? What is that?
I thought there was some knuckleheads that thought that. Is that really all of the continents together?
Whoa.
It shows you how much goddamn water there is.
So much water.
That's a mind fuck.
Yeah.
Because you really like to think that we're all dirt and not as much water.
It's so much water. It's all water. It's like a little speck in a huge ass ocean.
That's what's really crazy. Is those ground dwelling motherfuckers have figured out how to suck all the fish out of that water.
I know.
It's crazy.
That just to be able to get those suckers out,
All
sometimes
of them.
with your bare hands. And then they were like, yo, we need something. We need a smaller situation.
I think until they came up with nets and stuff like that, I don't think they were real effective. I think they just got what they got and they ate that, but the populations were fine.
Yeah.
But in the last, 150 years, they've been using nets. They just jacked that whole ocean.
What do you think happened to the dude who figured out the hook? He probably got all the pussy in town. The dude who hooked the fish, he was getting all those fishies. He was getting the ones that were way deep.
The kind of pussy that you would get back when you invented a hook,
God.
You don't want it.
But now, in your modern mind, you don't. But back then, you're like, yo, this is fresh.
Fresh?
It only smells like must and dead rat.
Do you become African American? Something's happening to you. It's wake and bacon. It's taking you to another level.
It takes you to another level for sure. Yeah, I get back to my roots.
Let's guess. How long ago do you think they invented the fish hook? Did they even know?
I'm going to say it's a really old invention.
Super old.
It's like arrowhead time period.
Yeah,
it's very
exactly.
close to
native before pre-Native Americans.
Those bitches would just break. If you think about a big fish hooking a little thin, what would they make it out of? Bone, probably. Must be bone.
Maybe
Bones are pretty
bone.
hard.
Yeah.
But you would think
Stone would be too heavy. That shit would just sink and.
Well, it would also break.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to hook it well.
Yeah.
It must have been bone.
I bet it was bone.
Yeah. But bones get brittle, especially after they're off the body and they start to calcify and all that. How old do you think it is? It's got to be really old.
Juniper wood, it says.
Juniper wood was the first one.
23,000 years ago.
Jesus
Wood?
Christ. There it is.
Norwegians.
Yeah, those
The oldest
Vikings.
fish hooks. They were made from sea snail shells.
Oh, that's
What?
pretty crazy.
There's a bunch of information I'll put together in this.
In
little
Okinawa
paragraph.
Island, dated between 22,380 and 22,770. Isn't that crazy that they get it that close? They're basically in an inner, give or take 80, 90 years, 100 years.
I know.
They're in
How
that
can they even?
neighborhood.
It's is it carbon dating? I mean, that's the only thing I remember from high school. How do you date it back? Do they find? Is it like a forensic thing where they grab a fly and they're like, yeah, this was 6 years ago because of the juices on the wings?
I think there's a bunch of factors. One of them is the dirt that's around where they find it. If they find it on the ground, then it's covered with dirt over hundreds and hundreds of years. They could take some of that dirt and
test it.
Yeah, they can
see
test
what's in it.
They're trying to test. I think.
Whoa,
that's crazy.
I want those as earrings.
Is that a fish hook?
Yeah, I clicked the.
That's out of the shells.
Yo, those are fresh.
Wow.
Those are really nice. I would rock those.
Would you?
Yeah, at the Comedy Store.
Oldest fish hook found in Okinawa. Wow, 23,000 years ago. That's crazy.
And so they're saying that the oldest fish hook is linked to the Norwegians. I would think Japanese.
This says Okinawa.
Yeah.
The Norwegian thing was saying that, and up until the 1950s, they were still using wood.
I see.
I think it was just like a added fact.
Yeah, Japanese makes sense.
I wonder if they all figured it out at the same time, different spots in the world. I wonder if it's one of those things there's just some weird thing. Who is that? Is that Rupert Sheldrake? It's the morphic resonance theory. He's got this weird theory that I think the idea is that if a rat learns a maze on the East Coast, rats on the West Coast will learn that maze quicker.
How? Like a
They don't know. They don't
collective
know.
consciousness amongst the rats?
As weird as it sounds, there might be some sort of strange connection that all rats share. And not just all rats, but all living beings. His argument was that if this is demonstratable with a rat in a maze, that if they did something like with human beings, if they could figure out a way to prove this, that's likely what's happening. Is that like he brought up a bunch of different factors like inventions that are simultaneously taking place like all over the world, like one.
That's strange.
Yeah, you can attribute some of that to education, right? Like
yeah, definitely
people
education.
found
What's
out.
going on, like the trends that are happening in education, but
they also think there might be something else going on underneath the surface.
like on a different realm.
Like if we're all a species and you're on one side of the world, you learn something. The people on the other side of the world have like greater access to it in some weird way.
That's really bizarre.